if a lawyer comes to you or us and and wants to incorporate WhatConverts, like what is actually happening there to where on the back end we get a nice list of people who have contacted the law firm, whether that's a call, an email, or a form or a chat. Like what's actually happening there, and and how does that work?
It's magic. So,
Perfect.
yeah, it goes into a black box and reports come out. No, there. I'm trying to decide. You're like, how deep in the weeds do I go? But it's fairly simple. When somebody comes from a website, so there's first party cookie data and there's third party cookie data. I just want to make that clear. All the data we get is from the last website the visitor was from. So if you're a stranger and you're saying, hey, I need a lawyer, you go to Google and you search for a lawyer, and it's going to show you ads at the top, which is Google paid ads, and it's going to show you organic results below the paid ads. So if you click on one of those ads and you come through to the lawyer's website, you've gone from being a stranger to being a visitor on a site. Okay. So when you land on the site, what happens is information on that click that you clicked on the ad, we store that in a cookie, which is just a text file in your browser. So we know where you came from, we know what keyword you used, we know what page you landed on. And we also swap out the telephone number on the website. We have a script that does it on your client's website. So we also know what telephone number you're seeing. So then if you don't make any phone call, we don't capture any data, and you go away. Now, let's say you go and you do another search in Google, you come back, and this time you click on the organic search result and you come through. We know you came from an organic result because of browser referrer data. It's difficult to say that. But we know you came from Google organic, and we know what page you landed on. But, Google organic, you don't get keyword data. Now, because of the cookie data, we've got 2 attribution points that you came from. And now you make a phone call. Now you would have seen the same phone call each time. We download that marketing data. So we call that marketing data on basically what marketing brought you to the website. We collect that as marketing data.
Right.
And then the conversion action is the phone call. We take those two, we tie them together, and we store it as a record in our database. So we combine the conversion action, and that conversion action normally has who you are. It knows your telephone number, your caller ID, things like that. The same thing, if you filled in a web form, we capture that as well. We know the full contents of the web form. We append that to your marketing data, and we store that in our platform. So when you come to our website and you say, oh, well, who filled in this form? We show you who they are. They'll tell you what they wanted. Like, I'm looking for a lawyer for, a personal injury claim or something.
Right.
And then we'll say, well, this person, they searched personal injury claim in Google Ads. They clicked on the ad, they came to your website on this date, and then they filled in the form on this date. So does that answer it? Is that a bit too crazy?
For sure. I mean, I think, lawyers don't need to necessarily get into the weeds of how the sausage is made, right? But I think it's good to understand just from a conceptual level that, what you guys are doing, and what we're able to get value from, and then pass that along to the customer is our client, is just you're able to interpret where basically the footprints, right, of where that person is coming from. And without that, it's a total black box. Without that information, it really just doesn't, it can't provide you with actionable good insights about your marketing to know whether it's working or not. And we used to use kind of our evolution. We used to use Google Tag Manager, and we would send a report every month, and it would say, hey, look, here's your total number of calls, your total number of emails, and other stuff. And so, for a lot of our clients, they get that report and they're like, okay, great, this is really good. Business has been going up. Cool. Everything is working out. But then we talk with some other clients and we're like, hey, your numbers are off the charts, right? You're getting tons and tons and tons of calls. And they say, well, it's business isn't really that good. And with WhatConverts, we're able to actually then dig in deeper and see, okay, they're getting a lot of calls, but they're getting a lot of calls from this weird page that they created 10 years ago, and for some reason it's just caught wildfire on, with Google organic or something. And so it gets you not only the kind of the metadata, but really the specifics, right? And I think that's the big difference between what this is versus just basic Google Analytics tracking, or kind of any other idea of tracking. This really, for me, brings it full circle.
Yeah, and I mean, that's, you should be on my sales team. You did a really good job explaining. But when we capture that data, like, that's first step. And I wouldn't say that capturing that data is revolutionary. That's not the differentiator of WhatConverts. It's when we capture the data, is how we organize it, because all the data, it's like having a spreadsheet that was built for lead management. If you ask it any question, if you say, I only want to see leads from this campaign, you can do that in 1 second. The other thing is we then have great reporting. So now it's like, well, show me all the leads from this page, like the immigration law page. Show me all the leads from that. And then it says, okay, well, you got 10 leads from there. And it's like, well, show me which ones were qualified. And if you've qualified it will show you that. And then it's like, well, can I see them? And it's like, absolutely. One click and it says, here are the 5 qualified leads that came from the immigration law page.
Yeah.
And we can do that for keywords. We can do it by campaign or even source and medium. So that's the great thing. And when you compare it to Google Analytics, because when we started WhatConverts, we'd tell people that we do lead tracking, and they'd say, well, we use Google Analytics for that. And I used to use Google Analytics religiously when I was running an agency. The problem comes is when you go to your client and you say, hey, I got 100 leads from this campaign. And they say, well, how many of them were good?
Right.